And there we go. Right now we're back with the lovely Janet. Janet, do tell us all about yourself, because how did you get into the world of gardening?
Good morning, Mary. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Jeff, as well. Well, so I have another business in hospitality.
Ooh.
Which was doing okay, and then COVID came along, and then that closed for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I needed some money.
Something else.
Yep, I didn't want to use all our savings. So I thought, well, what can I do? And I thought, well, I've got an allotment.
Oh, have you an allotment?
Yep. I can garden vegetables. I've got a tiny little garden of my own. And I thought, well, I'll just put it out there and see if anybody wants any help.
Yeah.
So I put a Facebook post out, and it just went from there.
I can tell you, I know exactly how that goes now. The thing is you get one garden, and then the neighbour comes out, or the lady across the road comes out, or the man down the road says, I need this. Yes, that's how it goes.
That's exactly how it goes. Yeah. And you've been a gardener yourself, Mary,
I've got that T-shirt, so or in the cap. Yeah, quite a few years. But you just, I think at the end of the day, you just be wise as to what you take on, because, you can get adventurous, you do get strong, but you're never as strong as you think you are. And you can swing a spade just once too often. Don't offer to go breaking up rockeries.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to stay within your limits.
Yeah. I never believed I had one.
I'm a grass man.
Oh, yeah, men are.
I cut it.
Yeah.
And I swear at it.
Yes. I used to tell my customers that it's therapeutic to cut your own grass.
Well, I've had people in. And I've had people in to feed it, weed it, encourage it. And it's all gone strange.
Yeah.
I had an enviable lawn. Everybody envied my lawn.
Yes.
And it's now gone all patchy and horribly and died.
Well, this summer has been particularly brutal for gardens and lawns.
Okay.
Lots of patches of lawn died off and has been replaced with weeds.
Yeah, it sure as heck has. It definitely has. I just look clover when it's the same colour.
I think the heat was the main problem.
Get the old weed and feed on it. Then you get darker patches of green stuff, you see, and then you know it's working.
Weed, feed and
That's what it's called.
And expletives.
Yes. No,
okay.
No, weed and feed is a feed.
Yeah, but can I just shout at it as well?
Well, you could try.
Does that work?
Yeah, no, but it'll make you feel better.
There's always begging as well.
Please grow.
I think it's easy to move house.
I have known people to move house because the garden was beyond them. Yeah, no, well, lawn. People can get absolutely fixated with lawns. I did know a guy in Maidenhead actually, and he had a lawn like a billiard table.
Did he?
Yeah, and it was pride and joy.
Did he cut it daily?
Near
the reason
enough.
I say that because I know someone who
Near
does
enough.
cut his grass.
I have seen him out there with a pair of scissors at times. Honestly, every blade just stood so.
Well, that's why we found there was a real need for women gardeners, actually.
Now, why do you say women as opposed to men?
Well, I was just really surprised when I started. One of my first gardens, the customer asked me to mow the lawn, one of these really big, heavy lawnmowers, and it was on a slope. It was just running away with me, and I could see him watching me out from inside the window.
Was it a push mower?
It was petrol.
Oh, petrol
mower.
Sitting right.
Yeah.
It was powered.
It was powered, but slightly too powerful for me. I ended up at the bottom of the slope. Very embarrassed. But what we have discovered is that there are a lot of male gardeners that are happy to do the mowing, happy to do the big stuff, happy to do the hedges, and the tree pruning, but less male gardeners are happy to do the nitty-gritty, the weeding, the planting, the pruning, careful pruning, not just, making it into a round shape with a hedge cutter. Mary, you know what I'm talking about.
I do. Don't get controversial on
that. So it's fine pruning with care.
Yeah.
It's a fine pruning.
Yeah, because, you do see a lot of hedge cutter work of, just making everything into a ball shape, but that's not I mean, that's okay for doing a hedge, but that's not okay for most plants, really. They need proper pruning, which you have to learn how to do, as I learned how to do, because I didn't really know much at all when I started. But there are so many ways to learn how to be a gardener now. And I've spoken to many women who have talked to me and said, I think I'd quite like to be a gardener, but I don't have the confidence. I'm not sure that I know enough. And it's not, you don't have to go and do a course with Royal Horticultural Society anymore. It's great if that's the way you learn, fantastic. And then you can learn lots of plants and lots of Latin names for all of these plants. But there's YouTube, there's Google, there's apps that you can point at a plant, like picture this, they are brilliant.
I've used those. You point. There's
no doubt about it. I don't challenge that.
And where is it all stored? This stuff. I mean, where does it all come from? Within a second.
Within no time at all. And I have to say
amazing.
that my son himself does a lot of home improvements, let's just say, and he's learned how to do everything on YouTube because the courses are literally there. This is what you do, and they are easy to follow. So, but I'm actually a qualified pruner. I did my courses from the Berkshire College here at BCA, and so I'm a qualified pruner. Looking at me like I'm growing a second
What's
head.
your favourite prune?
Roses.
Oh yeah, I love
roses because they you have to talk to them as well too. They're family, and I have a lot of roses, but I love it's and the fruit trees as well too. I did a lot of fruit tree pruning as well too. So it's what colour is your apple? So basically, if the apples are green, the tree just needs to sit sort of like straight up. It's fine. The sun doesn't need to get through them because it's not trying to turn a green apple red. If you're going to grow a tree with red apples, you need it rose bowl shaped so the sun does get through. There you go.
That's top tip.
Well, there's a top tip. Are you a vicious lopper?
Oh yes.
You are.
Yeah.
You are a brave.
Make one cut instead of three little ones. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take the big one out.
You're a brave, bold
Vicious.
lopper.
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh, I'll take the complete top of a tree out and take the yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Just thought I'd ask.
And my apple tree in my garden, I've actually hung the bricks off it until they learn to hang down, and so it's willow shaped. And if you hang bricks on it, then all the branches grow downwards, and the apples I never have to get a ladder up my tree.
It's like being the continuity announcer at Gardener's Question Time, this, isn't it?
One of the top tips I heard from one of our other gardeners was with roses, you take out any stem that is thinner than a pencil or thicker than your finger.
Well, the one thicker in the finger I would probably keep. The thinner one, yes, and anything that's crossover and is going across has to come out because you have to keep it open. But yes, most of the things like I'd put on a 2 or 3 year plan prune anyway, because you do a really hard prune first of all, and then a lighter one, and then maybe you don't even touch it the next year. Let it do some growing, then whack it again the next year.
And what about wisteria? Because I love pruning a wisteria. I love a wisteria.
Whack it. Whack it back.
Whack it back.
Whack it back. Jeff's going like a game of tennis. He's going between the two heads.
I'm going left to right, right to left, and then back to left again. That's probably when I got my mouth open, wondering, what are they talking about?
Whack it back.
I am impressed, though. It's nothing to do with the female side now. I'm just impressed at how you talk with such determined knowledge. I think it's lovely.
With such determination as well to get a hold of that thing. Whack it back.
So how did you... I mean, do you retain things in your mind naturally and easily and even surprise yourself at your creativity? Or have you worked really hard at it to not only impress yourself but impress clients?
It's a brilliant question, actually. So one of our ladies, Justine, I don't know if she's listening.
Hello, Justine.
Hello, Justine, darling.
She has an incredible memory. So you only have to tell her the name of the plant, or she'll hear a name of a plant in Latin, and she'll just remember that forever. It really depends on how you learn. Some people can just learn a bunch of Latin names and retain those. Mm-hmm. Other people, less so. I cannot learn like that. I would love to have a certificate, but there's just no way because I'm dyslexic and I just can't retain information that way. And I think part of the reason why there aren't as many female gardeners as there could be is that lack of confidence. I'm not good enough, I don't know how to learn. But I would say to everybody, you can learn in any way that works for you.
Is that a lack of confidence that you might be wandering into a male-dominated world and therefore you start 2 notches down rather than as an equal?
Yeah, and
it's
I
an
think...
attitude of mind, is it?
Yeah, I do think that is before I actually became a gardener, I was thinking about what it would be like to be a gardener, and I was talking to a couple of male gardeners in our local pub, and I said, I don't suppose I could be a gardener, could I? Because I'm not strong enough. I can't do the big hedges and, use really massive hedge trimmers and stuff and climb up big ladders. I'm not strong enough. And they were like, no, probably not, actually. And that was it. And I'd put that to bed until COVID happened. And there is room for everybody in gardening. And actually, it is great. We work with some big burly chaps, and they help us do the bits that we can't do, and we do the bits that they don't want to do or can't do. They're not interested in learning all the different plants and colour schemes and planting schemes. They're quite happy doing the lawns and the hedges. So we can work collaboratively in that way.
It can work.
Yeah, it works brilliantly.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Teamwork or a dynamic duo.
Yeah. It certainly is. Like, the thing is, because the gardeners that we experience in our daily life are the ones that are on TV, which of course it's been their interest to learn all the names of the plants, like, your Monty Dons of this world and Alan Titchmarsh, who've been doing it for years, but they're TV gardeners. But they have had they do know how to work in a garden, and that's something that came away from the Percy Thrower days, if you remember.
Indeed.
Going way back. Percy was always sort of at the edge of his allotment and by the side of his shed. And he would have shown you very simple things of just how to put seeds into the ground. And it was very, very basic. So, and he had a daisy was a daisy. You didn't come up with all whatever the Italian name for it or the Latin name for it was. And they don't... people like to sometimes be impressed whenever you're a gardener, come in, and so that you can share that you've got some knowledge, because they want to have faith in what you do. But at the end of the day, a garden, when it's done, speaks for itself. Yeah.
And it's about being honest about your abilities. I've worked in customer service for many years, and it doesn't matter what job you do. It's about setting a realistic expectation. And being honest, and people respect that because it's less risk to them if they know where they are with the people that are working for them. And you can learn a lot from your customers and a lot from your customers' gardens as well. And some of our older clients are just physically unable to look after their gardens anymore, but want somebody to help them. And those relationships are fantastic because it's collaborative, mutual benefits of learning from somebody that knows their plants and knows how to look after them. And also for people that live on their own, it's company for them as well.
Yes, I know. Yes, it is. I've got there's some elderly people around here where I've lived, and they've got 2 lady gardeners that go around a few of the gardens near us, and I've been chatting to quite a few of them, and they love what they're doing. A lot of the girls are working in pairs as well too, quite rightly, which is the right thing to do. One doesn't, but the other two lots do. And I think it's better because it's a very lonely world being a gardener as well too, unless somebody comes out. But the next gap you get is the old boy. The old boy down the road that'll amble along leaning on his spade or something. And some of those old boys can just do magic. They just turn the soil, and then the next thing is there's something growing there. So they are a different audience as well too. But the work needs done, and I think while people are now at home alone and less able to maybe manage it, maybe they're now a widow or widower, and they appreciate. And the thing is, you're appreciated.
Yeah,
because coming along just maybe once a week, once a fortnight, doing the garden takes everything away.
Yeah. And it's so creative as well. That really surprised me. I went to art college, obviously many years ago, and that has been really useful for me because when people want a border design done, I can now sketch that out,
Marlow
which has been
FM.
useful.
Whoa, I do beg your pardon. Let's have a little butt-in from Marlow FM. Let's just remind us where we are. Sorry, I'll go to the right side and drag a song down until we get ready. that didn't happen. Pay attention and carry on.
So you like to create something on paper to show, and is it beautiful finished artwork?
Yeah, customers do like that. I have to say, because you can put that up on your wall afterwards.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could have done that. I'd love to have been able to do that. I'd really stand back and amaze. Anybody can do this, just little circle squares, and there's the garden. Oh, amazing. Mind you, what do you think of the new gardens that you can see on TV now that's 3D? You put these goggle things on, and you're standing in your new garden. Have you seen this, Jeff?
I have, yeah. I've also seen it for interior design as well.
For interior design as well, yeah. But they've done
It's
gardens
incredible.
with it where they've created all these, outdoor dining areas, and it's not a garden any longer. They're outdoor rooms, aren't they?
No, I have to say, I mean, even though climate change is making it very difficult for the English country garden to survive now, and we're moving to gravel gardens are very popular at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
But some of the new designs, garden designs, and landscaping are very concretey.
Yes, they are.
They are. And I'm on quite a few forums for gardening and landscaping because I like to learn from the landscapers.
Yeah.
And one of them put the other day, I would really love to design and landscape a garden that doesn't look like a bathroom.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This is why, they are. The outside does look like the inside, but without a roof.
Yeah.
No. Very, very trendy and very contemporary. And
I did think if any of those people actually moved house, would you want to buy this house that's now entirely paved? Sorry, there's not a blade of grass in it anywhere, and it's all maybe different levels, leading down to some little sunken bit. Wow, that's personal taste, really.
And there isn't enough gardeners out there either.
No, there's not.
We have so many inquiries. People always phoning.
There is actually a shortage of competent creative gardeners. Really.
And you know what? You don't have to be, like you said, Mary. You don't have to be Monty Don. You don't have to know loads. You have to have a passion. You have to be honest. You have to want to learn. And that's all you need.
And
to
just
start,
really help some people out.
It's just helping people, Otherwise, we'll have no gardens left anymore. They'll just be like miniature car parks.
Mind you, the new houses that are being built in an awful lot of cases are not being built with gardens in mind, are they? They're some of them are postage stamps, or it's nearly just a paved area around. There's no garden. But for the person who's just ringing, please ring whenever the music's on. Try and call back. We can't answer that phone while we're on air, for understandable reasons. It's like, oh, excuse me, everybody, I'm going to answer the phone. It's best not to do that because we're never all sure who's ringing. But it's one of the things is with the gardens we've got as well too. From the police's point of view, if you're away on holiday and things, make sure somebody does your garden while you're away, especially if you're away for any length of period, because the burglars can also look at your garden and think those people aren't around.
Yes, there is that. It's quite.
Your gardeners coming in are security.
Yeah.
Unless you put a notice on your lawn saying, "I am naturally an untidy gardener. I am at home and I have a shotgun."
This is just what my garden looks like.
This is how I am. So
seriously, it is a giveaway.
Yeah,
so
it's a natural garden.
Yeah, it is a giveaway. So you can always tell if somebody's not around, and maybe there's a for sale sign there. The house is empty, and there's all sorts of flags going up like that there.
There are people though that
Cut the
like
grass.
to have garden features. Now, in your opinion, what would your favourite garden feature be that you would feature if you were going for a gold at the Royal Horticultural Show?
Ooh. Not just your garden, going for the horticultural show as well. My goodness.
Well,
Isn't it? Do you mean as in not a plant, as in a...
Yeah, not a plant. Just
object.
a feature. Well, not a feature. I don't mean even a statue. But how would you like the garden to hit a person for the first time when they come in and view it? What feature would you like to place in the garden that would really sing out that the person loves their garden or the gardener is a genius?
Well, for me, it's important that a garden has a focal point, but
Right.
it's about having levels and about having... So your eye is taken through to a point, and that can be done with planting or structure.
So you like to draw the eye through from near to far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's about colour and texture and planting, but also, yes, there's pergolas, and Corten steel is very trendy at the moment. That's a sort of rust-coloured metal, which is rather beautiful.
It still looks like a rusty old bucket just shoved there.
Oh, do you?
What would you have? Would you like garden feature or statue, or both?
Oh, arbour, I think.
Oh, I love
arbour?
An
Arbour.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all going
Pergola.
now.
Oh, yeah, get a pergola.
We're all getting romanticised. And
I've got all of them in my garden, and statue. My garden looks like a garden centre.
We've got gnomes.
Yes.
Have you?
Yes. I have a village.
You don't.
I do. Ask my friend Linda. She'll
Is
nod.
that-
She's
is
sitting
that
beside
true?
me because she's watching the
Is
notes.
that true? You've been... okay.
She's nodding and shedding a tear at the same time. A tear of embarrassment. Oh,
I have water features. I got a pergola with roses growing over it. I have a fountain in the garden. I've got a little fountain. Best thing from Amazon. You know, that place that you buy stuff from. And I'm sure other places are available as well too. You get a little floating fountain. You put it on sort of like your urn or whatever, and it does a little spray up. Amazing. 10 quid last year.
Twee. Tweeness.
Totally. There's now, talking about weather.
Oh, yes.
Janet, getting out there in the all weathers, not so nice.
No, it has been pretty chilly this season, hasn't it? For a good couple of weeks. The ground has been absolutely solid. But there's still jobs to do.
But there are things to do, aren't there? Lots of things to do.
Go on then,
Yeah.
Jeff. What?
Winter pruning.
That's because I told you that earlier, wasn't it? Go on then.
He's listening. That's all right.
Winter pruning, right? Tea drinking, 2 sugars.
Yeah, definitely. Wandering around,
Wandering around,
Looking at it.
looking at stuff.
I can make a trowel look so interesting.
My husband does that. He does that
could.
walking and looking thing. Not always wasted.
I did ask though, when the ground is hard as iron, and it's really, really frosty, you still have to work. You still have to do it, no matter how cold it is. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, it depends on how big the gardens are that you look after.
Okay.
Big gardens, there's always something to do. There's always compost to be turned over. There's greenhouses that can be cleaned. For bigger gardens, there's lots of winter pruning, grapevines and wisteria, roses, if you haven't got around to all of them yet. So there's lots to do. In the smaller gardens, there's less so. But it depends really as a gardener what sort of gardens you want to take on and how much work you want to do each week. And most of us only work part-time. Some of us, all of us actually, are career switchers. And so customers wouldn't expect you to turn up at -3 or even 35-degree heat. But the garden dictates what you can do, and the bigger it is, the more there is to do on it. But some of my gardens are all year round gardens, all year round, yeah.
Absolutely.
But you don't plant in weather like this, do you?
No, well, no, you'd have to have a jackhammer to break the soil to get the plants in. Yeah. But you can plant in the winter just as long as the ground isn't frozen.
Yeah, mind you, all the little bulbs are all the way up now, so this isn't the time to go tramping around in the borders, is it?
And there are lots of flowering plants out at the moment.
Yeah, I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
What have you got up?
So hellebores are beautiful at the moment, and they have, if you don't know what they look like, they've got evergreen leaves, but the flowers look like cartoon flowers.
Oh, yeah, the Christmas rose.
Christmas roses,
is what they're usually described as. And they do look, they're like a flattened rose. I've got a beautiful, the pale green one?
Yeah.
I've got that one. I've got a purple one, which you can hardly see because it's so dark. And I've got a pinky one, but the lime greeny ones, absolutely stunning.
Yeah. And the white ones are brilliant for this time of the year.
Oh,
when the light is low.
Yeah.
And also just winter pansies as well. If you get the lemon ones and the white ones, they really zing out when the light is low. Yeah. So the hellebores are great, especially the white ones, because they really stand out against the dark soil. I must get one of them this year. Must get one of them.
You see, your description, really zingy, it sings out there. I don't think I've ever heard a bloke talk in such a creative way.
Talented, creative lady. That's why.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
There is there's a styling to it, a sort of a descriptive style, a colourful descriptive style when you talk to a lady gardener. I don't know, is it just me? I don't know, but I've not heard a bloke talk about, oh, the colours are so zingy. And they just, what? No. I mean, it sounds a bit camp when I say it, but mind you, the telephone book sounds camp when I say it, so that's another thing entirely. But no, listening to you talking, I would say that you would want to listen more. I'm just saying.
Well, that's kind.
Not at all. No,
Thank you.
I haven't got time to be kind. I'm just telling it how it is. I think it's really refreshing to listen to a creative description. Go.
Go. I was just going to say, now, we did ask you, had you got some top tips? It would be nice, because unbelievably, like, only 5 minutes left. So have you got, like, well, I will, if anybody wants to get in touch with you after the show, we will give out your web address, etc. But have you got any top tips that you can share with us now?
Top tips for gardening now?
Now. Right this minute.
Right now.
Right this minute. Well, if you've got a compost heap, that can be turned over.
Yeah.
If you haven't finished mulching, and for anybody who doesn't know what mulching is, that is where you would use organic matter, especially compost from your heap if you have one.
Now, this is where my friend Linda, sitting next to me here watching things, observing today. Linda has got a garden full of leaves because she's got a million trees all around her garden. So her garden is the compost heap at the moment.
Yeah, so I think there's 2 camps with leaves, isn't there? There's one where pick up every single leaf and dispose of it or burn them. I'm more of a, because lots of little creatures and cretins hibernate in leaves. So take them off of the lawn where it's going to damage the lawn.
Yeah.
But they can stay in the beds and the borders. They don't do any harm, and the worms will eventually pull the leaves down into the soil. So you can mulch your beds with the leaves. It's also a lot quicker if you just zhuzhing the leaves off of your lawn into the beds rather than picking every single leaf up. And because leaves don't compost down very quickly.
Not all of them do, yeah. Some don't go down at all.
Yeah, so you can put some of them in your compost heap, but if you just put all of them in a big pile, they'll still be here this time next year.
Yeah. They have to keep the border warm as well too, don't they? They kept it where the little bulbs are coming up, so they'll keep it moist whenever that ground goes rock hard.
Yeah, so they will eventually go into the ground. It's probably environmentally better not to chuck them all away and take them down to the tip. And it's quicker. But at the moment, they're all stuck to the ground with frost, so you have to wait until they defrost to remove them.
Defrost.
Yeah. So yes, you can mulch your plants with organic matter, especially the roses.
Yeah.
So the nutrients will go down into the ground and feed them over the next season.
Yeah. I feed mine only once a year.
Yeah.
And just at the start of the growing season.
Yeah.
Which is, and they keep going. Roses are dead easy to grow, but you have to have a friendship with them.
Yeah.
Because if they don't like you, they'll bite you.
Yes, I have lots of scratches over me where I've had fights with them.
So you're talking about natural things being absorbed, either dug in or wormed into the soil. But what about things you can buy from a garden centre of a chemical nature? Do you put anything down at this time of year, would you advise?
Well, first of all, as a gardener, you have to have a certificate of competence to be able to use any chemicals whatsoever.
Right.
So we don't use chemicals.
Okay.
And they like to... It's £300 to get a certificate.
I know, I've got one.
Have you got one?
I'm just talking about like all the weeds and feeds.
Yeah, so you can...
concoctions that you have.
Yeah, so you can buy all of that stuff and read the back of the packet and decide whether it's right for you or not. With the lawns, you can instead make sure that you scarify them, i.e. aerate them, put lots of holes in them in the spring and then in the autumn. But it's just been very difficult for lawns this year because it's just been so hot.
Yes.
You know, when you go to hotter countries, you don't see the type of grass we use there, and that's for a reason.
And that might now carry on as well too if the global warming. Mind you, I could do with a bit of global warming at the moment, no harm to it.
It's quite cold in here.
It's freezing.
We've got one radiator in here, an electric one.
Well, it isn't on, I have to say.
I think we're draining the electricity from this street.
No, we're preserving the living.
Are
But
we?
I think the main thing as well, too, that I would just say anybody that's going scurrying around in sort of like compost heaps and things, do take care because there can be little creatures in there. So the hedgehogs do love to nest in there as well, too.
Yeah.
So don't go stabbing the ground just
No.
too quickly.
Our hedgehogs have disappeared for a while. I don't know
Have
where they've
they?
gone.
My dead.
Probably because
Like
it's
flood?
probably because the neighbours have moved in and they've got a cat.
Oh, there
Perhaps
you go.
it's scaring them off. I don't know. But we do like a hedgehog.
Yep.
We have a box and we watch them fighting each other for the
I know,
food
you've
and
even set a
hedgehogs.
camera up watching them,
We've
haven't
got
you? That's brilliant.
We've got two cameras,
Ooh.
my dear. We're watching them coming, going and fighting.
Have you ever fed them cat food?
Yes, that's what we do
It's
feed them.
just hilarious to watch them, isn't it? They're just
Crunchy.
mad for it.
Crunchy cat food.
Oh, crunchy cat food.
Yeah, we can hear them crunching in the box. We did. We have, what do you call these, under bed polythene things. And they go in there.
Under
Under
bed
bed
polythene.
polythene things. What's
Yeah,
that?
the box, with a lid.
Tupperware. You keep
plastic
them in
ones.
Tupperware.
Plastic.
Oh, the plastic box.
It's not a small. Yeah, a big plastic box. I cut a hole in it and they go and live in there.
Oh, right. Oh, cool. Do you put
And they-
straw in or anything?
We put newspaper in, water, and dried cat food. And we can hear them crunching.
It's like a hotel.
It is.
Hedgehog
do you know,
hotel.
Good on you.
Sometimes I get banished there.
Janet, quickly, you've got so many seconds. Give us out your email address, how people can get hold of you, our website.
Yeah, so we are definitely looking for more people to join us collaboratively. So if you're interested, have any questions at all, or just want to find out more about being a gardener or joining us, then the website is www. And this is easy to remember, WeWeed.co.uk. So that's quite memorable. WeWeed.co.uk.
One E or two in that we.
WeWeed.
Quicker?
Gotcha.